pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. That just might work.
Welcome back to another episode of the Michel Matters Podcast. I'm Jocks Michel.
And I'm Jackie Michelle.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
It's been so long. I had to remember what the intro to the podcast was.
Yeah. It's definitely been a long time.
Yeah, this is a very impromptu, we weren't even planning to record this right now.
No, we were probably not going to have an episode out again this week.
We weren't. And that was going to be okay.
I guess.
I mean,
I also feel like the last episode was kind of heavy.
It was, and I don't think we're lightening up.
No, we're not. But life isn't either. So, yeah, the last episode was kind of heavy, and I think we got a lot of feedback that it resonated with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just needed a break.
I feel you.
I was just like, okay, I think that was probably our most vulnerable podcast.
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is... I mean, it's not super late, but, right now, you can't see us, thank goodness. But Jackie's, taking her hair out.
Yep.
And, yeah, we were literally, on a podcast bender. We were just listening to a bunch of podcasts and having conversations based on those podcasts. And Jackie just stopped mid-sentence, was like, we should record this. And I was like, really? So I went and got, stuff set us up real quick. And here we are.
Here we are.
Trying to get y'all some content.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
go ahead and lead us, sir.
Lead us. Yeah, this is for some people a controversial topic, or it's just come with a lot lately. But I don't really have an issue with talking about COVID and vaccine, because to me, I don't think it's this hush situation that we tiptoe around. I respect most people's opinions.
I was about to say, no, you don't.
Yeah, I respect most people's opinions.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna fight you over it.
Yeah.
So if you want to be uninformed and ignorant, have at it. But we're reasonable people who have real concerns. I'll definitely engage in the conversation.
Yeah. Well, because you said it's not a hush thing, but it's kind of turned into that. It's kind of you don't ask someone why they're white. You don't watch Mean Girls. Okay. So if you watch Mean Girls, you know what?
that reference just went right over.
Oh my, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
It's stuff like that, but it's become, how don't talk about
who
politics and religion.
Yeah.
And do you have the vaccine or not? Are you anti-masker? Right. We're not really diving into those topics.
Correct. And I don't know why, but that's also an American thing. Americans don't talk about their money, their sex life, their political affiliations. Yeah, it's nothing.
It's a HIPAA violation. Ask, remember? But this is the world we live in, where you think it's a HIPAA violation to ask somebody if they vaccinated or not. And I also think because this has turned so political.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's tell me you voted for Joe Biden without telling me you voted for Joe Biden type. You know what I mean? It's one of those at this point. And it's sad because your health shouldn't be political. It shouldn't be there shouldn't be polls to it. You go extreme this way, extreme that way. I think our caring for people's health should be universal, but that could be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the conversation we're listening to a podcast. And the thing is, I feel like it's been coming up a lot lately. Just in terms of people I talk to, friends, just people I work with, this vaccine and it's like, you would think, man, I would have thought a year later we would still be this thick into COVID discussions.
Yeah.
It's been this thing on my job now, or it's starting to come up about if this whole thing with Biden goes through, where companies that have over 100 employees, you either have to be vaccinated or test weekly to come into the office.
Which is still giving people a choice.
It is, but it's definitely going to push people to want to get not want to get vaccinated, but feel the pressure to get vaccinated.
Yeah. I mean, if you have time to get tested every week, then, and you're quote unquote anti-vax, I mean, I don't want to put that label on somebody, but then that's your option.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, no one's forcing you to get the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy, but like I feel like I just hear about it more and more. And I feel like we talk about it more now. Well, it's been the topic of discussion for,
of course,
over a year now.
Yeah.
Like how would you gauge, like, where does COVID right now? How do you feel about it, and where we are as a society, like right now?
Oh,
dealing with it.
Good question. Oh, how we're dealing with it,
or how, like, all right. So if you would have asked me like a year ago, I would have said, oh, it's crazy, but everybody quarantine, this and that, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And now a year later, how do you feel like we're dealing with COVID, or where do you think COVID is right now for us?
I think, or at least what I'm seeing is, how some people are handling COVID is just kind of way more relaxed now. We're also in Florida, so I don't know where you're listening. Your views may be different, and what you're seeing may be different. But yeah, like the people that I know who are not vaccinated, are still just living life regularly, and some of them have been affected by COVID and have had it, got through it, and it's just like, another thing that I've gone through in life, and now I'm gonna go to Tulum like everyone else, right? Yeah. And then some others are still like quarantining, like, I'm not leaving my house, it's different. But I think for the most part, I think we're just not, I mean, we're never on the same page. So this is no different, but I think it's definitely way more chill, the way that people are handling, even though I feel like this is a different than when we first started. So if anything, we shouldn't be more chill, but because we've been enduring this thing for so long, people are kind of like, okay, well, at this point, if you get it, you get it. And if you make it, you make it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for me, thinking about COVID now, I feel like we're getting to the point, or at least I'm getting to the point, I don't know if we are as a society, where it's starting to feel like this may be a endemic, where it doesn't. So right now it's considered a pandemic, but I think when it's an endemic, it's kind of like how the flu is, like it's just never going away.
Got it.
And I think that's what this is going to turn into, for us. And I'm not saying I've come to terms with it, but yeah, I just feel like that's where we're going, because there's just still so much divide.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think this is coming to an end anytime soon. We're just going to learn how to live around.
Yeah. I mean, and we do it with the flu, so then, whatever. But I don't know how the flu kind of transformed over time. And I know that like that COVID is like now mutating and whatever. I don't know anything about the flu, and what the stages were.
Yeah.
for us to continue to, always advertise getting flu shots and things like that. Because I don't know anyone who died of the flu. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I think to me it's just like a different beast. Like I know people who have from COVID.
Yeah. And now a year later, right? How do you feel about like mask and your mask usage? Has it increased, decreased, stayed the same?
That's interesting. Yeah, I still wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a mask. If you see me at the store, you're going to see me in a mask.
Yeah.
If I'm working out outside or something, I'm not going to wear a mask. But that's how I operated last year as well.
But do you feel more like comfortable now in group settings not wearing a mask versus this time last year?
I think it depends on the group.
Okay. I
guess so. If you see me wearing a mask around you, that just means you've been out here in these streets, and I'm just gonna wear my mask. But yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna wear my mask. That's just like the default for me. And I was actually talking to somebody and just telling them like how our current Bible study is kind of set up and separated into different tables and stuff. And how really I don't know what anybody really looks like still. Mm-hmm. Like I've only seen one person's full face. Or
only
I think
one?
No. I've seen 3 people's full face just because like they'll, take a sip of their water or whatever. And so I was describing one person to a friend of mine and I was like, she might be in her 50s. I can't tell behind the mask, but that's what she's giving, And she was just like, wow, you guys are wearing masks at church? And that's just like, yeah. I don't know. I think that's just become the default, at least in the spaces I'm in.
Yeah.
So if I go to my parents or something, I'm not going to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. Or your parents. But
do you feel like you... Well, I don't think we wore a mask around our parents this whole time, honestly.
In the beginning,
maybe like the first time
like the first couple months.
Not even.
Yeah.
I feel like we weren't seeing them as much to start.
That's true too.
But when we did go see them, I know I maybe wore a mask around my parents like once.
I wore a mask around mine. Because they deal with like tenants. And at the time we were doing the renovations, like I was helping my dad a lot. And so I was just like, you're dealing with contractors and stuff. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So, yeah. I think we started letting up around the holidays.
Yeah.
Because it was still intimate. Yeah, it was still intimate. But so we didn't really wear masks. But then that's when we had our first scare. It was like right after Christmas. Or was it right after Thanksgiving?
It was Thanksgiving.
And somebody in the family was like, we got... Yep. And then that's when it was like, okay. So then we had to get tested. And then that was like the first experience of like, oh, what if we have it? But we didn't. And thankfully we haven't had it this whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that also... for me, it was like, I don't want to get it. If it's going to turn into the flu, which I'm sure I've had before, it's just, I probably just thought it was a cold. But if this is going to turn into something that's just like, we're always going to have to deal with, yeah, I still don't want it. But I'm going to myself as much as I can. So,
yeah. So, for me, when it comes to mask usage, I think it's very time and place, where I'm like, yeah, it a lot depends on who I'm around. That's a big one. And then like, okay, are we outside? Are we inside? Mm-hmm. Are these people vaccinated? Do I know for sure these people are vaccinated? where I can sometimes I let my guard down a little bit. Yeah. And even sometimes when I do, I feel, I don't want to say guilty, but like I feel like, man, should I have worn my mask anyway? And yeah, so it's like now that everything is starting to, I feel like it's not slowing down, it's ramping up as far as like COVID talks.
Yeah.
The big question has been like, you know, vax or not to vax. Should we be forced to vax and all of our rights and freedoms that are being attacked here?
Yeah.
Like where do you fall on the discussion of like vaccination? Or the quote unquote like being forced to get vaccinated?
Yeah, I don't like being forced to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Your body, your choice. I get it.
That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, I'm not that person. I don't do like, don't force me. I'm not gonna force you. And I can't. Like, you don't have authority over anybody. So so yeah, I'm I guess, are you trying to say, am I labeling myself pro or anti?
I'm not saying any. I'm just asking you what are your thoughts on, because it's a discussion now, right? Like,
yeah,
like should I get vaxxed or not? If vax that thing up. But if you are,
because Juvenile said it, so.
You know, if you were like, I don't want to say proposition, but like if you were given like almost an ultimatum, right, where, you know, vax or, you know, lose your job type situations, or like how do you feel about that whole discussion?
You know, I don't care about these jobs, so that doesn't entice me to do anything. But I think what it came down to for me is just, which this always comes down for me, is how am I loving others? And there are people in my life who are sick, who have gone through and experienced COVID in like a serious way, that have literally told us like they thought they saw death. And so in that way, it's like, okay, I don't want to be the person who shows up to function, the meeting, the church, the whatever, and like, we lost another one, and it's because I brought it here, or whatever. Like, ultimately, I don't want that to fall on me. And whatever I can do for that to not happen, for the sake of loving others, I'm gonna do that. Period. So if that's wearing a mask, I'm gonna do that. If that's getting the vaccine, I'm gonna do that. I see your wheels turning.
No. Not in a like I'm gonna go against what you said type way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you mentioned, well, I don't know if you mentioned or maybe I meant, but I just kept thinking about is the freedom aspect of it, because you kind of really didn't answer the question, but you know, that's fine.
Okay, so ask it again so I can answer it.
I was just asking, what are your thoughts on like the whole debate about, you know, whether people should get vaxxed or not, or like, you know, is it right or wrong to be forced to get the...
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's wrong to force people to get it. I think it's interesting that, I mean, it came with all these other incentives for people to get it. Like, at some point, they were like, oh, get the vaccine, you get some free ice cream.
That ain't no incentive.
Like, and I was just like, wait, what?
That ain't no.
We giving people ice cream to take it back? Like, it was just weird to me. But yeah, when you talk about freedom, and I was mentioning earlier before we were recording, that I had seen, I don't even think it was on YouTube. It might have been on Instagram. And a nurse friend of ours reposted it, and they were reposting this news story where they were reporting from some other country, and he went up to two ladies who were outside having coffee and was like, "Oh, are you vaccinated?" And they both said yes. And then he was like, "So why?" First of all, he asked them, like, recording live.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Yeah, we're vaccinated." Like, there was no, "Why are you asking me this?" And so he was like, "Why?" And they both were like, "I mean, that's what we're doing, like, for our country. Like, we're whatever." And I'm just like, that's so interesting, because a lot of y'all do a lot for y'all country, quote unquote, like, but the vaccine is like, you're taking away my rights.
Yeah.
When it's like, I want to say we were the first country to even get a vaccine.
We're up there. I don't know the timeline, but I mean, we're the United States. So yeah, I'll go ahead and say
like, at some point they were like, we really need y'all to come get it because we have a lot of them. So here's some ice cream. Here's a 6-pack of beer. Like,
yeah,
America.
Yeah. and I guess I'm going to have to rehash the conversation we already had. But when you said that, the first thing that came to mind is like, well, that's very American. Like,
But is it?
Telling the government to... I'm not going to use the language
I
used before.
Go ahead. You said it in front of your pastor before.
No.
Well, not that, but you used some harsh terms in front of your
former pastor. But yeah.
Former pastor growing up.
I said, being able to kind of tell the government to, like, you know, they can shove it is very American. Like, we kind of pride ourselves on being able to, if the government says something, we say something back, or we have the right to say no. It's one of the things that, you know, people love about America. And I've been saying it from the beginning when the quarantine first started and everything. Like, as Americans, we're not going to do well with the quarantine because we don't like people telling us what to do.
Right.
You know, but I also find it funny that we get on, you know, certain people about not complying with the government or with the authorities. But when it's their turn to comply, they go crazy and they turn up at these school board meetings and in their local grocery stores. What do I know?
Yeah, coughing on the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, so I think that's my issue, right? If we feel like this is a trampling of our rights, I just question, you know, where do we draw the line with that? Like, who we agree with? Like, who has the right to say that, no, this is violating my rights, and who can't? Because I think we've made a distinction in this country. I don't know if it's clear, but some people seem to have more leeway with their rights than others, or they're allowed to speak up more about their rights than others because maybe they think they have more rights. I don't know. I didn't plan this.
You didn't.
I did not plan this. I was not trying to go there, but it went there.
It always does.
But you did say something about loving others that I really think resonates with me, not just as a citizen, but, you know, a Christian, and where we do have some responsibility. And I guess the debate will always be like, what does that look like? Whatever, to love others. Does loving others mean I have to get vaccinated? I don't think so. But to be like anti-vax and anti-mask, now I'm starting like,
and anti-test every week.
You know, it's okay. Yeah, where are we? How do you like logically, like, what's your thought process on that? Because there is so much evidence, right, and research that this is a real thing. People are really dying from this.
Yeah.
They're at this point in your life, if you got to be like 1 degree of separation away from someone who's had like serious complications.
I feel like I hear about somebody at least every 2 weeks who definitely every week that someone's had it, or someone has it, or like every other week that someone has passed from.
Yeah.
And it's getting like closer and closer and closer.
It is. And I think as Christians, right, this has turned, and this could be a whole nother episode about the way politics intertwine with religion so much. But has that superseded our call, our commandment to love others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think rather than make this such a political stance, I really think there's a human compassion that needs to be considered when we talk about how little we care for some of these rules and regulations. Because with freedom, right? You have to live with the results. That's kind of the counterbalance of freedom, right? We have freedom of speech in the United States.
Yeah.
But you don't have freedom from consequence, right? So you can go to your job and you can use all types of racial slurs,
yeah,
and all these things, but you can get fired. Like, they're not gonna send you to jail. You know, you're not gonna lose any of those rights, but you may lose your job because of things that you say or do.
Yeah.
But you have the freedom to do it. So kind of like with the vaccine and the mask, like, you have the freedom to not do it, but as a Christian, right? There are there results, are there consequences for that freedom that we're not considering because we feel like, this has become so political. I think there are.
When you say consequences, like, what are some of those?
You could pass this to the elderly woman that sits next to you at church, right? Like there are consequences to these things, and are we okay with?
Yeah.
Is it worth making a political stance?
And we know that you can still pass it on, like, you could still
for
get
sure.
it.
But we at this point,
I just want to make sure that's out there.
Yeah. I'm not here for like because I'm also not just like, oh, you have to get vaccinated. If you don't have to get vaccinated, fine. If you don't want to get vaccinated, I'm saying,
yeah,
fine. Once again, that's a choice.
That's your choice.
That's a choice. But I'm saying, so you're not gonna wear a mask either? Like.
But that's your choice too.
It is, but once again, the results. if they tell you can't go inside of the supermarket because you don't have a mask on, I mean,
that's your business.
That was the result of the choice. You still have the freedom. Your freedom did not go away.
Yeah.
You just have consequences for the results of the choice you made in your freedom. And I think,
why do people? I don't know. Maybe I just see freedom as something bigger than that. Like, bigger than a mask. Like, I don't feel as though, because even before the vaccine was out, people were like, oh, they're taking away my freedom because they're telling me what to wear and like whatever. And I'm just like, but even this is the freedom you finna, like, this the hill you want to die on? That, and really?
I mean, when you hear people's reasoning for not wanting to wear a mask, it's some of it is comical, some of it is like almost like, man, if you heard someone use this same logic for something you didn't agree with, you would like lose it. Like, oh, the government is trying to control us and this and that, and it's like, I mean, some of these arguments that Black people have used for certain things for a while, and it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to hold you back. There's always an excuse, usually for the government. Now that it's something that you feel oppresses you, the government's so bad. I don't know.
Okay, because you bringing up the Blacks now, so I want to just dive What are your thoughts on, because I really feel like right now there's a lot of things at play with this too, just about misinformation on stuff. But I feel like it's been affecting the misinformation on COVID and vaccines, that is, has been affecting us a lot from what I'm seeing, because of what I'm seeing people post and share and like whatever. Blacks and like regular white people, like poor, you know.
Yeah. You literally saw this week a media storm over Nicki Minaj tweeting about but like for
Forgot
real,
about that.
This is 2021,
Yeah.
right? Like this is what 2021 looks like. The Prime Minister, Trinidad and Tobago, literally had to comment about quote unquote misinformation that Nicki Minaj was spreading. This has to be like an alternate universe. I
was at a friend's house, catching up with her because it's been a while, and the news was on, and I was like, "Wait, why is Nicki Minaj on the news?" Like, literally, the Prime Minister is saying the words Nicki and Minaj together, and it was like one of the biggest segments.
For sure.
That we were watching. And I'm like, is this really still on? Like, why is this a thing? Like, let it be a tweet and that's it.
And before we got on the call, I saw that there was like some, like protests, vaccine protests. And there were people holding a flag that had Nicki Minaj's face on it.
Nice.
To think, in the year 2021, we're getting medical advice and discussion from a rapper.
Okay.
Nobody cares what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this.
I don't think she was giving medical advice, though. Because what she was saying was, I'm going to get the vaccine. I'm not going to get it for the Met, though. That's basically what she was saying. I'm going to get it once I have to start making this money. And go on tour.
And this was, I agree. But when she said the comment about the person whose testicles swole up, and she wasn't saying don't get the vaccine, but if somebody told you that somebody got the vaccine and their testicles swole up, would you go get the vaccine?
No.
So I know what she said.
Yes.
But you have to understand the impact of your words.
What was the end result of that? Did they it was a true story, or her cousin's
No, that's what the Prime Minister was saying. Like, we have no record of anything like this happening. But
gotcha.
So when but I'm saying for people to have gone and protest and hold a flag of Nicki Minaj, in the year of our Lord 2021, we are, rather than hear from doctors and Nicki Minaj is the face that we're going to hold up at a protest.
Yes.
To why we're anti-vaxxing.
Yes.
That's crazy. and
if Summer Walker agrees with you, my God, I can't. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
So one of the things with vaccine hesitancy that I've noticed from Black people is a lot of them feel like I just need more information. And I won't say I don't empathize. I understand.
Yes. Because I was there.
Yeah, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I would say to go talk to
a Black professional.
If that makes you feel better.
If
that makes you feel better. If you feel like they represent the man and you don't trust them, I don't know, get a couple more opinions.
Yeah.
But I do feel like this idea that we're going to do more research from people who don't, own a library card. I'm just saying, I would rather you go talk to somebody who knows what
Correct.
Because we're not experts on the matter. And I think there is a level you have to get to where you have to trust people.
And these are the same people who were saying we were going to turn into a monster,
I'm waiting for
a
my
superhero,
superpowers. I'm waiting for my
a
superpowers.
whatever. That has now turned because that's been debunked because that's not how science works.
Yeah.
And we don't live in a Marvel universe. And now it's swollen testicles. So I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know. I also think like everything is a joke online.
It is.
So
it is.
There's some of that.
But like, I don't think we should get our research information or our vaccine information from the internet. I do believe, or from social media. Let me not just say the internet.
Yes.
From social media, I do think,
And and certain sites.
Correct. Because like 2 weeks ago, y'all was climbing up milk. So I don't think the masses are.
Wow, I thought that was a dream.
Nah, that happened.
Reality.
That happened.
Yep.
Right, and these are the people you can get into an argument with on social media.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't argue with y'all.
No.
I can't argue with y'all. But I guess to kind of get back on track.
Yes.
So I did want to talk about a little bit our journey.
Okay.
Through this whole thing, because I think we as a unit weren't on equal footing here for a while.
You're right.
I early on was like, I'm ready to go get the vaccine.
Well, I'm going to rewind. I think we were on equal footing because I was going to get the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't going to get it when you got it. I felt like you were jumping the gun a little bit. And I was like, we're still home. We ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not, like, give it a little bit of time. Like, let's just.
Well, I think you mean when I first started bringing it up, not when I first got it.
Yeah.
I think I had brought it up months in advance before I actually got it. And my only hesitation for getting it, not hesitation, but the only reason why I didn't get it is because I wanted you to get it as well. And then when I felt like everyone has their triggers or whatever to get them. So I think, I don't know, I brought up my own personal, like, I was out with someone who ended up getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And
bad.
Yeah. But we, once again, you don't know. You get that, everyone's gotten at this point, the text, the late text, hey, just want to let you know. Either I got it or I was around someone who got it. But this person texted me that they had got it. I was with them 2 days prior. The panic, oh my God, I ran to go get tested.
Yeah.
This and that. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Tired of going through that, the whole rigmarole of that. I was like, rigmarole is not the right word, but let me go get, let me go get vaccinated because I need the safeguard. I felt like, and this was early on too, before we even knew that you could get the vaccine and still be out here getting sick and stuff.
Right.
But at the time, that was the decision I thought was best. Turns out, literally like a couple of days after I got the vaccine, I found out that person was in the hospital who texted me they had it, and I was like, whoa, like that was really close to home. Like that, I'm one step away from that possibility. You know what I mean? Like that could have been me.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was my trigger. But yeah, so we weren't at the point that I actually
seeing
got the vaccine. We weren't seeing eye to eye. But at that same time, I felt like I needed to do what I had to do because you had you work from home way more than I do. Like I was at the point where I was starting to go out more for work, being around people again. And I was like, I felt like I had to do what I had to do for us as a unit. And, it's one of those like, I'm going to do my part for us.
I also wasn't against you getting it.
You weren't.
Which is all like, I'm always like, hey, do what you got to do, bruh.
Yeah, but I still I still want what's best for you in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was the same thing with my mom. Like, the people I love, the people I was around a lot, of course, I can't force them to go get the vaccine, but I can encourage.
Yeah.
And if you have doubts, if you have questions, I'm willing to go through this with you. Like, what you want to do? You want to go? You want to set up a telehealth appointment with a doctor? I'll set it up. You want to whatever? Like,
Yeah.
you need some articles? Let me do some research. I'll find some articles for you, like some real articles, like medical journal type articles.
Yeah.
Not BuzzFeed. But yeah, it was that for us, and I was like, I could tell you were kind of on the fence, and I understood some of your reasoning for being hesitant.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I feel like you have to show people grace. Like, you have to. I don't think you can shove anything down people's throats.
Right.
You know, you do what you can. You show them you care how you can, and eventually, I guess you can say how it went for you. What was a turning point for you, or?
I mean, there were a couple. I think at the friend that you're mentioning was definitely a deposit in that, but that didn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think you also got another text where another friend got it, and they listed like 9 other people who had it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. That's nuts. Like, there was also a girl that we know who got it, and she had it bad. And seeing like that family walk through that was that stuff. So it was like all of the 30 and under people, not all of them, but a lot of 30 and under people in our lives were being affected.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I'm not immune to this. Which I don't know. American ways, we feel like this not gonna bother me. Like, I'm in America or whatever. Like, I have clean water.
There were so many. You think about the phases that we went through when this first started. There was a point in time where we thought black people couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, black people was like, oh, black people don't get that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, this doesn't affect young people. But this is what I'm saying,
like misinformation towards black people, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I feel like that was my turning point. And then it was also just, I spoke to a couple friends who had gotten it. They felt very comfortable with their decision. And they looked normal to me. They were still living their lives and thriving. You know, I mean, obviously they weren't going to like Mexico or whatever, but they were just doing what they needed to do. And that was it.
Yeah.
So I just went to the park and I came home one day and I think you were like taking a nap and I just showed you my arm. And I was like, look what I did today. And you're like, what? And I was going to do it the day before, but yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I only wanted to tell that story just so, you know, we don't have everything always all figured out. We didn't get here, from day one. It was a process. But I also think that, there has to be some type of intentionality for what we're doing, as black people, as Christians, as like, you know, not spreading misinformation, getting the right information, doing the right things, and also
that was it too. I got a couple emails from like doctors that I have met with and stuff, and they were go for it. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
So I think to anyone too that I talk to that's on the fence, am I encouraging people to get it? I'll say yes, but am I like pushy? No.
You're definitely pro-vax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one was like, okay, you know, I'm not here to push an agenda. Like,
right.
It's not an agenda to me. I see it as I think it's a health issue. I view it first and foremost as a health issue. And And then, yeah, I do think there is the human element of compassion for my fellow man. And I mean, loved ones, that I take into consideration when I made this decision. But I just feel like, I don't know. Like I said, I respect most people's opinions on the matter.
Yeah, it depends on who it's coming from.
Yeah.
I think I'm pro health, and that's in all facets and areas of people's lives. Like, if you were dating somebody who is trash, I'm gonna tell you, like, this person is trash. You should probably,
That's not health, but I hear you.
But, like, seriously, like, this is not healthy for you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you do you.
Yeah.
But it would probably serve you to get rid of this person.
Yeah.
At least in this way. And that's the same that I feel about the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just not we had the freedom talk. So I'll just say that, like, I'm not here for the freedom to.
Yeah.
You have freedom.
Yeah.
But there's always,
because there's definitely some countries who are.
Yeah.
Tightening up the rope.
We were out of the country earlier in the year, and man, the way people lined up to go get that vaccine.
Yeah.
And there was limited quantities.
Yeah.
It's, there's certain things that we take for granted, and it shows how spoiled we are, as a people. But
to be an American.
it can change. Yeah. It'll change your whole perspective on. We're blessed. They throw away vaccines every day. So yeah, I'm not sure how to end it. I think that's how we're gonna end it.
That was crazy.
This was a very, very out of the blue discussion.
But I think people are discussing this, and people are having conversations about this, and we just were. So I was like, why not bring the mics?
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
Yeah, you should have recorded our abortion conversation.
Oh man,
no.
I mean, we can. Y'all want to hear?
We get canceled.
Y'all want to talk about abortion?
So,
in Texas,
it's been that kind of night for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it though. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation.
Yes.
I think that's all I got, man.
All right.
Another one episode in.
Bye, guys.
When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. That you might work. That you might work.